Hello YouTube, Totalhenry here, and I'm back with another episode of what I'm reading and watching, a weekly show where I talk about the manga and anime that I've read over the past week. Now, as usual, in the description below there will be a table of contents to show you guys what I'm reading, what I'm going to talk about, and when in the video I'm going to be talking about it so you can skip around to see what you want to watch. Starting off is Toriko, chapter 325. This I thought was a good chapter. They set out to find the fish dish called Another, and there was a lot of crazy stuff, crazy parts of the gourmet world that we haven't seen, just like sort of crazy oceans and sea monsters. I like that. I thought it was pretty cool. It's something that I've loved about Toriko, just the craziness of all the environments and animals. So that was pretty cool to see. And I get the feeling that this will be a much better arc than the pair arc, so I think I'll like it more. There also is a new chapter that they meet in the very last page that will definitely play a role in the upcoming chapter, so I'm very excited to see what is going to happen there. Next up is Bleach, chapter 628. Another chapter where nothing happens, which is going to be the theme with Bleach. There were some funny moments early on in the chapter, but again, they weren't that funny. A little chuckle here and there. And I'm just wondering, why is this so drawn out? Why has Tight Kubo done this? Everything is so drawn out the last like 3 or 4 chapters and nothing has happened. It's just, okay, we're getting there. We're almost there. We're almost there. We're there. They stop and they look and they keep walking. And why hasn't the fight started yet? It's been like a month of nothing happening. So it's kind of annoying that nothing has happened. Nothing important to talk about. Next up is One Piece chapter 788. 788. This was a really great chapter. This is one of those chapters where every single character works together. They put aside their differences and they all work together to achieve something. And it was very nice, very great sort of feel good moment there. So nice in that respect. And I still don't like that Luffy's running around waiting for like the 10 minutes to be up so he can fight Doflamingo again. It seems out of character. I don't know. It's just kind of bugs me, but hopefully next chapter he will be back. And I don't get how Doflamingo can't find him. I know it's in the middle of a city, but I don't know. I feel like Doflamingo should be able to find him. And I wish Zolo had been able to accomplish what everyone accomplished all by himself, because I thought that would have been really cool. Um, but oh well. Overall, it was a good chapter. One Piece is getting very exciting now with the climax of this arc, and I'm enjoying it. And I can't wait to see what else they're going to find along the Grand Line and in the New World. Next up is Nisekoi, chapter 172. Again, as usual, nothing happened in Nisekoi in relation to plot developments that everyone wants to hear about. But I still enjoyed this chapter, mainly because Shu. Shu is my favorite character in Nisekoi, and I think without a doubt the greatest character in Nisekoi. He is so funny. He only appears for like a few pages, like a few panels even, and that made this chapter worth like reading, because he's so funny. He has some really funny moments that I just loved. And this is just a typical New Year's chapter where they all pray and make wishes that they hope will come true, and they're all like, "Oh, I want Raku to confess to me." Raku's like, "Oh, I want to get together with Onodera," and it was kind of cool that now Shikomi showed all their wishes. He went through about 3 pages showing what each of them wanted for the new year, and it was kind of interesting to see what each of these characters wanted. And I was also thinking just that if you read Nisekoi and you don't expect anything from it, like you get into that mindset, like just enjoy the chapter, just forget about everything else about how Raku should pick a girl. It is very enjoyable. it's nothing great, but it's just a nice, cheerful, enjoyable read, and that's what I've been trying to do. Just forgetting how much I want Raku and Chitoge to wind up together, or Raku to wind up with any girl for that matter. And I'm just sort of enjoying what's happening to these characters, and I'm just sort of I let myself get into the flow of these chapters. I'm like, oh, okay, that was cute. So I don't know. That's how I'm able to enjoy Nisekoi. Next up is Shokugeki no Soma, chapter 120. This was a good chapter. I enjoyed seeing the school with its regular academic classes as opposed to its like super harsh cooking classes. So that was a nice change of pace. And they started talking about the festival, and I'm even more excited for that because Soma, he's challenging, what was his name? Koga won the Council of 10, I think it was C8 or something, and he's like sort of making a declaration like, okay, we're gonna do this. I'm gonna beat you, and I don't know what Soma's gonna do. He needs a lot of help, and very interesting chapter that sets up the scenario, and Koga sort of shows him like, this is what I've got. Can you beat me? Can you do it? Just sort of like war has been declared, sort of inviting Soma like, okay, come on, make your move, that type of thing. And I really like this new character. I think he's very cool. I like his design. At first, I thought he was a girl just because he had like a little bow, not a bow, just like a little clip in his hair. Overall, very good chapter for Shokugeki no Soma. My Hero Academia, chapter 44. There was a nice color page, and I love that they had in the upper other side, in the upper corner right here in My Hero Academy in the color page, they have a little box that shows the jump symbol and then the number as well as the chapter title, so it looks like an old style American comic book, or even some of the newer ones are like where they'll have like DC or Marvel in the corner. That was kind of cool. And I really enjoyed this chapter. It's nice to have a peaceful chapter after like so many chapters of action. Gives you a chance to unwind, catch your breath. And there's a lot of different stories going on with each of the characters. They each get a few pages to talk about like what they're doing after the contest. So that was very nice to see. I want to see more of the half fire, half ice guy, Todorukio. I butcher his name every single time. I wanted to see more of what he was doing because I don't want to give it away, but it was very interesting what he was doing. I believe it's going to change his character a lot. Next up is Haikyuu, chapter 159. This is a great chapter, and I was right last week when I said that Tsuke Shima would shine in this chapter, and he did shine. The chapter ended. The climax of this chapter was him. It was all him. Okay, it wasn't all him, but he scored. He did incredible. So just another great action chapter as usual. Haikyuu, just like standard chapter, great volleyball action, intense drama with the game, trying to fight back against your opponents, and you know what? There was an awesome double page spread in there, so I guess that is cool. Very nail biting chapter. That's Haikyuu for you. Just very consistently good. Next up is Black Clover, chapter 15. This was another great action packed chapter. I am really enjoying Black Clover, and I hope it lasts. I hope this does well because it's so good. He shows off his magic abilities, his magic powers. The art is really cool. The magic names are really interesting, very creative. A lot of different types of magic. So I'm enjoying that. Two intense fights were happening in this chapter, so you're going back and forth between the two fights. And I hope Asta and the bad guy that from the other kingdom, I believe it was the Diamond Kingdom. I hope they have a huge sword fight. You'll understand if you read the chapter. But other than that, love Black Clover this week as usual. Um, Next up is Naruto, the Seventh Hokage in the Scarlet Spring, chapter 700.5 or plus 5. This was a great chapter. Reunion between Sasuke and his daughter, Sardia. Sasuke's becoming like Itachi in a lot of ways. He's carrying a bunch of burdens, put on him by the village, or that he sort of put on him by himself. So I think he's trying to. He still feels bad about killing Itachi after he found out all that Itachi did to him. Hey, look, Itachi's back here. Itachi and Sasuke. See, Itachi. So next chapter, there's going to be an awesome fight scene. They started at the very end of this chapter. Naruto and Sasuke started going at it with the villains. And I hope Naruto and Sasuke win like fairly easily. I hope it's not one of these big drawn out things where Naruto and Sasuke just barely win. I want them to kind of win easily and just show just how, I don't want to use the word overpowered, but just how strong they are and that they can beat these rebels. The last thing I wanted to say is I'm surprised that Naruto seems like the better fodder than Sasuke. If you go back to some of the early volumes of Naruto, you would have insisted that Sasuke would have been the better father because he just seemed more mature, but oh well. So next up is Jumpstart. Jumpstart is where Weekly Shonen Jump in America takes the series that are coming out in Japan and brings the first 2 chapters over to America so we can read it and then we get to vote and see which one of these series that we like the best. So this time around is Straighten Up, Welcome to Shika High's Competitive Dance Club by Takuma Yokata. All 3 of those chapters I've reviewed in the past 3 videos, so you can check that out. Please check those out. And then Devilyman by Kentari Fukuda. That is what I'm going to be talking about now. This is the second chapter of 3. And chapter 2 was a very interesting chapter. I liked it more than chapter 1. There's a lot of questions that are still unanswered. And it's just continuing. It's not like, in a sense, it's standalone episodes, but like they're building on each other. And sorry, chapter 2, I'm already intrigued to see where this is going to go. It's hard to really tell where it's going to go. On one hand, you have the devil, Madara, who is trying to get, like, I believe, 1,000,000,000 yen. Get a billion yen, and the 7-year-old kid, Eru Taira, is trying to help him. But Taira, he's an interesting character, and you still don't know a lot about him. But the last page is kind of revealing, but you still don't know everything. So I'm curious to see where this is going to go. I think this series might get a lot more serious than what it first seemed like in these chapters, where it was kind of lighthearted and funny. But, this will probably still be funny at heart. And I love this series. I think this is great. It's new. It's different than like all the other things in Jump right now. So very exciting to be able to read something new. Now, the last thing I wanted to talk about, I was thinking, what else can I talk about? What's something new that you haven't heard me talk about? And I decided One Punch Man. One Punch Man is a fantastic manga drawn by the artist of iShield 21, Murata. And he is doing the art for One Sensei who did the initial webcomic. And now Murata is drawing this on like a weird bi-weekly, not bi-weekly, like twice, every 2 weeks he's putting it out into magazines. So it's a very weird schedule, and he's doing weird parts at a time, but the art is fantastic. I believe that this art right now in this manga is possibly the best art in all of manga right now. He is just an incredible artist, one of my favorite artists of all time. And I just read chapter 444 today, or I think part of it. The chapters come out in weird parts. And I love this series. The art is so good. There's like no story, not much of a story, but the characters are cool. Saitama, he's the definition of an overpowered superhero. The series is also funny in very weird ways. Like Saitama just does weird things. Like characters were having this serious conversation. He's in the corner reading Shonen Jump, which I thought was kind of funny. And you know what? This is an example where who cares about the story? The art is good, and the art is what makes this series good. Also, just the panel layouts and the design. Murata Sensei will have like 10 double-page spreads in a row that are all like flipbook animation style, where the character, he's like this, next one like this, next one like that, to show him throwing the punches. So if you like flip it, it looks like he's throwing the actual punch. and I love One Punch Man. I wish they would have the print volumes out for One Punch Man, but I don't know if they're going to do that anytime soon. I'm hoping to get English print volumes because I think that would be incredible. I know people would buy them. They're doing it digitally. I won't buy digital volumes. I don't like digital volumes, but One Punch Man is incredible. Do what else is incredible? My YouTube channel. Please subscribe down below, and I will keep making videos that I know you guys love.